This chapter of Bleach was actually quite interesting. The focus of this chapter was mainly towards the fight between Ishida and Hashwold, and we actually get to know about Uryu's actual ability, which comes from his alphabet A. Also, the true nature or the true power of the balance. So, what Uryu's abilities are is Antithsis, where within two designated targets, he actually could reverse anything. So basically, he kind of sort of can reverse any situation as he pleases. So if he has some kind of damage, he can reflect that or revert that into his opponents if he wants. And he gave an example right now with this fight. So basically what we saw in the course of these chapters where Uri was getting his ass kicked, what he was doing was he was taking damage as he could. I mean, of course, he was trying to fight him, but when the damage used to come on him, he wasn't really that worried because of his powers. He could just reverse it, you know. And at a moment where Hashwold was going to, end his life, he reveals his alphabet and he says that the entire amount of damage that he had on his body, he can reverse that and could inflict the same amount of damage on his opponent. That is the power of the antithesis. But Hashwold's ability is more broken than that of Uryu's. Even though Hashwold himself says that Uryu's abilities can actually be very dangerous, and could be rival to Yuha's abilities, which is the Almighty, it still is very poorly matched against Hashwold's own abilities. Even though Hashwold gets damaged a lot, I mean the same amount of damage which was caused on Uryu, he says that his true nature of the balance is to take the misfortune that is going to be inflicted upon him and redirect it or distribute that amount of misfortune amongst everyone around him. Not just that, but the misfortune which was already inflicted on him, or his own misfortunes, he could inflict those as well upon others by creating a balance, which in the end means that quite literally nothing can ever hurt him, because whatever comes in his way, he could just redirect it to everyone other than him. That is his balance. Originally, what I thought was that his balance ability is to reduce down his opponent's powers to make him and his opponent kind of on an equal level. But then the power which is diminished, the more power that was taken away, could help in the favor of Hashwold. But apparently was wrong. I was wrong. It seems so that he could literally, you know, deflect any kind of misfortune. In this situation, what he says is that when Uryu reverted the damage on Hashwold, his shield, Hashwold's shield, absorbed that damage. Okay, this is something a bit confusing. Okay, but I'll try to explain. Uh, of course, I could be wrong in my understanding, but still. So, the way his powers work is that when something comes at him, some damage comes at him, okay, that damage, if inflicted, he could, of course, redirect it. He could, you know, distribute it. Okay, so when Uryu damaged him, he just distributed that damage on Uryu. The damage that he had already was absorbed by his shield. Okay, and the misfortunes that he had on himself, okay, and the damage that was absorbed by his shield, both of them were actually rained down upon Uryu. So it increased the amount of damage that Uryu inflicted on Hashwald, on Uryu, which on itself is a broken ability. Man, I mean, there is no way you could actually get through that, unless, of course, you have your own broken abilities. You know, I don't know how this is going to work. Of course, Uryu can go in his world standing, but then even Hashward has his world standing, which, of course, will showcase his own abilities in a more dangerous way. Now, talking about the threat that Yuha might get from Uryu's abilities, which is to reverse or revert things itself, I could only think of which that I could only think that if Yuha could change something, Uryu would revert it back. That's the only thing that I could think of. And although this is quite an interesting and it is quite a useful ability, how well will it work? It's a completely another thing. Because to the fact is that Yuha can literally change a second per second of the future. And he could literally see everything. So even if Uryu changes or Uryu reverts the future, he could still see every thing around him. Okay, and he could just change that back. I mean, of course, he can't change the past, but the future that is going to happen after Uryu changing the situation, he could definitely change that. You know, so I don't know how that was going to turn out, but with Uryu, he pretty much is going to get his head chopped off. Hashfold just comes at him and he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm done with you guys." So I think by now maybe Ryukin might save him, or maybe Uryu just kind of revert the damage back to Hashfold, something like that. But anyways, in the end, we have to also remember that Uryu is the alphabet A, and he was supposed to be next in line in succession of the Almighty, or Yuha, you know. So I would think that there has to be more to his ability than just reverting damage or reverting anything. Okay. The other thing that is quite interesting in this chapter is the last panel itself. The last page shows us that Yuha is pretty much done with Ichigo, and he is about to take Ichigo's Quincy abilities from him. It seems so. Now, Ichigo has not yet shown us what he can do with his Quincy abilities except the Blue Twain. Okay, And in this chapter also we could see that in the last page his blue vein was active, or his blue artery. I don't know, it's black and white so I can't really tell, but I'm thinking of it as blue vein. But anyways, his blue vein was active, and it seems as though that I think the only way right now for for Ichigo to pretty much defend himself is by using his Quincy abilities, which I don't know how is going to turn out, seeing the fact that Yuha kicked his ass relentlessly while he was using his hollow abilities, and now he's going to use his Quincy. But here's the thing: even though Ichigo doesn't has a letter in his name, can he still be able to use one of those um, extra abilities that these Quincy's have? I mean, his strife? I don't know. If he can, then it would be quite useful in this battle, because these guys have the ability to pretty much defy logic itself. Okay, their abilities are not logically possible to do. So if this is an ability which is beyond logic itself, that can help Ichigo, and if he is able to activate that, that might just help him in this fight. But anyways, what do you guys think about this chapter? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time.